Before we begin, I just want to take a moment to share a little info about our Linkages program. So Linkages is our program at CJ East Senior Life, which is designed to provide information to older adults who have adult family members with disabilities. Linkages provides community educational programs such as this one, as well as information and referral and a support group. So for today's educational program, I would like to introduce Rosemary Landani, apologies, Rosemary Ladani, Manager of Illinois ABLE at the Illinois State Treasurer's Office. Rosemary joined the Treasurer's Office in 2015 after many years in other governmental agencies and the private sector. She transitioned to Illinois ABLE in 2018. She herself is disabled and can speak directly to others in the community about the benefits of Illinois ABLE. Rosemary has also been a successful community activist on numerous issues, including disability issues, for over 20 years. Rosemary is a graduate of Benedictine University in Lisle, Illinois, and holds a BA, an MA, and an MBA. During her graduate studies, her emphasis was on economics and finance, which included a year-long sojourn to Cambridge University, Clare College. Rosemary currently resides in the Springfield area. Welcome, Rosemary.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me. As was mentioned, I will be taking questions and I will be stopping several times during the presentation. So you can add them into the chat. And as we go along, you can always ask me about something that you heard prior. I will also give you my email address at the end of the presentation so that you can reach out to me anytime after the presentation to ask further questions or for help. So I am here to help you open an ILL-ABLE account. So I'm going to start sharing my screen. And we will get started. So we have a disclaimer. The information provided in this webinar is not intended to provide legal, tax, benefits, or investment advice. You should consult your own financial, tax, legal, or benefits advisor about your specific circumstances or the circumstances of your loved one. The Illinois ABLE Plan Disclosure Booklet contains more information about the plan, including investment objectives, risks, fees, and expenses. You should read it carefully before opening an ABLE account. You can obtain the Plan Disclosure Booklet at illinoisable.com, our website, or by calling our customer service. So who's going to benefit from the webinar today? So first and foremost, any eligible capacity, any parent or family member of someone with a disability, any person or agency that serves as a power of attorney, a guardian, or an SSA repay for a disabled individual, and disabilities or their families. So what we're going to cover today, the learning objectives. First, we're going to go over ILL-ABLE account basics. That's the nuts and bolts of the plan, who's eligible, how you enroll. We're also going to talk about eligible adults with legal capacity so that they can understand their options and how they can manage their own account. We'll also discuss who is an authorized individual, or as we call them, AIs. And we'll understand who they are and what their responsibilities are and how you become an authorized individual. We'll also go through the order of priority, which was set in effect by the Department of Treasury, and the certification requirements that an authorized individual needs to make. And then we'll go through our website and look at the
Well, apologies for the technical difficulties. I believe
I'm here, I'm back.
Rosemary is
We have
back.
some storms going on here. I do apologize for that. So bear with me. Okay. So again, sorry about that. We have some storms rolling through the Springfield area, and my internet decided to act up. So let's go to where we were. So what is an ABLE account? ABLE account is achieving a better life experience in acronyms. This is a tax advantage account for people with disabilities that can save and invest money for related living expenses of living with a disability. This is also a tool in the financial toolbox that allows an individual to save money and invest money while it protects your benefits such as SSI, SSDI, and Medicaid. It's also a part of a financial planning method that builds on a special needs trust or can be a standalone item. Okay. So the common reasons individuals open an ABLE account. One, it helps individuals with disabilities save beyond their asset caps without risking their public benefits such as SSI and Medicaid. Funds that are in an ABLE account are not counted on asset-tested benefits. So the money in the ABLE account will not be used to determine if someone can have SSI or the amount of SSI or Medicaid that they receive. An ABLE account also helps a disabled individual save for things that they want now or they need in the future. So for example, you can save for a larger ticket item such as a disability equipped vehicle, a wheelchair, a scooter, or if you need something today, such as a new walker, you can purchase it when you need it. And this helps individuals avoid the unnecessary spend downs that for unused benefits. So at the end of the month, the total is $2,000 that you can have in a traditional savings account if you're receiving SSI at the end of the month. And if you have anything over that $2,000 limit, you have to spend it or you're penalized for that. So even if it's $5, you have to run out to spend it. But with an ABLE account, you can move those extra dollars over the $2,000 limit into an ABLE account. You will not be penalized for having that extra money. So advantage of ABLE accounts. So again, you can save money, invest money in an ABLE account up to $100,000 and it will not impact your benefits. So this is a way for individuals to save and invest, build a little nest egg without impacting benefits. If the account goes over $100,000, then your SSI benefits are not terminated. They're just placed on hold until you bring the balance to 100,000 or less. And then assets in an ABLE account are not counted toward, again, asset limits set by Medicaid or HUD. And another great thing about an ABLE account is anyone can contribute to an ABLE account. And if you are an Illinois taxpayer and you give a gift or a contribution to an ABLE account, you can take an Illinois state income tax deduction for the amount of money that you gave or contributed to a loved one or a friend with a disability. If you file single, $10,000. If you file jointly, $20,000. And this has become so popular that self-preparation taxware, such as TurboTax, H&R Block, actually have a whole section under the state of Illinois that says, did you contribute to an ABLE account? And they will walk you through getting your tax deduction. Excuse me. So features of an ABLE account. So the eligible person is the person with a disability, and they are always the account owner and beneficiary. So it's not a guardian, it's not a parent, it's not a sibling, it's not a spouse. The account owner and the beneficiary are always the individual with the disability. And this year, between January 1st of 2024 and December 31st of 2024, you can contribute $18,000 from all sources. And then lastly, the account size can be up to $500,000. Excuse me. So if you are not worried about maintaining SSI benefits, you can have $500,000. So I always use myself as an example. I am disabled. I have an ABLE account. I am not receiving SSI benefits, so I don't have to worry about maintaining the $100,000 limit. So that means that I can have up to $500,000 in my account. So again, $100,000 for maintaining benefits, $500,000 if you're not worried about benefits. And then features of an ABLE account and the ownership of that. Illinois ABLE accounts are available to any U.S. citizen, excuse me, or resident alien living in any state or U.S. military base. And there's only one account allowed per individual nationwide. So I have an ABLE account. I can't go next door to Iowa or Indiana and open up a second and third account. It's always tied to the Social Security number of the individual with the disability. And again, an ABLE account can be an alternative to or be an add-on to a special needs trust. An ABLE account can also pay for housing and utilities. Okay, so these are the eligibility requirements. So let me say first, I am well beyond the age of 26. I kind of remember 26 in the rearview mirror. So my disability was diagnosed at birth. So the first qualification for an ABLE account is onset of disability before the 26th birthday. So that doesn't mean that you have to be 26 or you have to be 18. As long as you were diagnosed before the age of 26, no matter what age you are currently, you can have an ABLE account. So again, I'm far older than 26. My disability was diagnosed at birth. So I have the first qualification for my ABLE account. And then one of the next three things is true. So onset before the age of 26, and then the individual is entitled to SSI or SSDI. Or the disability started before the age of 26, and the person has a condition on the Social Security Administration's compassionate allowance list. Or the disability started before the age of 26, and the person is blind or has a medically determinable physical or mental impairment that results in marked or severe functional limitation that is suspected to last longer than 12 months, and they have a written diagnosis from a physician on file. So when you enroll, we never ask you for a copy of your diagnosis. You keep those for your records. And when you enroll, you will check a box that certifies to one of these eligibilities during the enrollment process. And then annually, you will recertify. So again, onset before the age of 26, you receive SSI or SSDI, or you have a compassionate allowance, or you have a diagnosis from a physician. So those are the eligibility requirements for ill-able. So everyone wants to know when you can spend the money, how you spend the money, what you can spend the money on. So an ill-able account is very different than a Roth or a 401k or a mutual fund. You do not have to wait till 65 and a half to spend money in an ill-able account. If there's money in the account and you need something for a qualified disability expense, you can spend it at any time. So a qualified disability expense was set up by the regulations, and the law was written very broadly to cover as many things as possible, including groceries and rent. Qualified disability expenses are there to help maintain or improve health, quality of life, or independence of an account owner. Qualified disability expenses are not limited to expenses that are medically necessary. You don't need a prescription for this. You don't need a letter from your doctor. And they can provide benefits to other people. And I'll give you an example of that. No limits on the number of amounts or a number of amounts or the number of withdrawals you can make for a qualified disability expense. So for example, if you've got $500 in an ABLE account and you need to spend $100 on one thing, another 100 on something else, $300 on the same day, you can spend it as much as you want as long as money in the account for a qualified disability expense. And then earnings and withdrawals are always tax-free out of an ABLE account as long as the funds are for qualified disability expenses. So this list is what you would find on the Department of Treasury's website, along with the Social Security Administration's website. So these are some examples of what qualified disability expenses are. Education. This can be a 2-year college, a 4-year college. This could be for classes to be cosmetologists. They could be art classes. These could be park district classes. Any type of educational experience that you may want that you have to pay for, you can use your ABLE money for that. Housing, rent, mortgage, heat, light, garbage pickup, whatever you need regarding your housing needs. Transportation. I call this trains, planes, and automobiles. So Uber, taxi cab, buses, trains, airplanes, renting a disability equipped vehicle, buying a disability equipped vehicle. Employment training and job coaching. So again, if you need someone to write a resume for you, if you need to print a resume, if you need to take classes for a job that you want, whatever it may cost you, you can use your ABLE money on that. Assistive technology. This is probably our biggest area that you can use the money on. So for example, a larger computer screen, JAWS technology for the visually impaired on their computers, special iPhones, special devices, reading devices. We also have folks that have retrofitted a wet room or gotten grab bars put into their house. We had a young lady who just bought her first apartment in Chicago who is profoundly hard of hearing. And so instead of her doorbell ringing with an auditory sound, she had the apartment building split the cost with her to retrofit her apartment. So when somebody presses the button, instead of a sound being made, the lights flash in her apartment and her bed jiggles to wake her up at night if someone's at the door. They also tied in the smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors so that she's safe and she knows if they go off, the lights flash, the bed jiggles at a different rate, so she knows what's going on in her apartment. Personal support services. This is above and beyond what you get from the state of Illinois. We have a couple in DeKalb who have Down syndrome that have someone that comes in to do their grocery shopping, helps them clean, helps them do their bills, takes them out to the restaurants every once in a while, takes them out to movie theaters, and they pay this person with their ABLE money. Healthcare prevention and wellness. This is above and beyond what you pay for with medical insurance. So for example, if you need over-the-counter medication, if you need a new walker, if you need to take some physical therapy, or you want to go swimming because it's going to help you feel better, you can use your money for that. Financial management and administrative services, and then legal fees. So if we have someone that knows that their loved one is going to need a guardianship, you can use the money from an ABLE account to pay the attorneys, to help you create the guardianship. If you are going to have a special needs trust, you can use the money in the ABLE account to pay the attorney to set up the special needs trust. The funeral and burial expenses can also be taken out of this. Another example that I have is we have a young lady who is totally visually impaired. She wanted a seeing eye dog. She found a seeing eye dog through Seeing Eye Dogs of America, but she had to travel to California to train with the dog for 30 days before she came back to Chicago. And her mom is her caretaker, her support person. So she and her mom flew from Illinois to California, round trip, hotel rooms, rental car, meals, and she used her ABLE money for both of their expenses. So mom got the trip to California with her, got to experience everything she was doing. So mom benefited from the trip as well as her daughter because she was her support person. The one thing that you need to know is you must keep the receipts for all expenditures out of the ABLE account. The only organization, entity, governmental entity that can ever question you on your expenditures is the IRS. They may, if they ever decide to audit your account, they would ask you to produce the receipts so that you can prove that they are for qualified disability expenses. As of today, we have not heard of any account in the nation that has been audited. So just to let you know, the program has been up and running since 2014. So again, no state, no person in any state has been audited, but there's always a chance. So where can the gifts come from? Where can the money come from? So the account owner or an authorized individual can set up a payroll direct deposit to their account. You can get money from family, friends, or third parties, small inheritances, insurance settlements, or tax refunds can go into the account. Distributions from special needs trust, again, check with your attorney depending on what type of special needs trust there is. Fundraisers, we've had some folks that have had crowdsourcing fundraisers because they're saving for a larger ticket item such as a vehicle. You can roll over another state's ABLE plan. So if someone moves to Illinois and they want to have an Illinois plan instead of a California plan, they can roll over. If someone started a 529 college savings plan, they know they're not going to use it, they can roll the money over into an ABLE account. And then we have UGift. UGift is kind of like Zelle or Venmo. You get a code for UGift. This is a program that we have on the website, and you get a code and you can give this code to your loved ones, and then they can do an electronic transfer to your loved one's ABLE account using that code. And then SSA benefits, you can direct deposit, or you can put excess benefits, that overage at the end of the month, into an ABLE account. But you must remember that if you do put SSA benefits into the account, the person doing so has to be a fiduciary. They have to be an authorized individual or the account owner that puts the money into the account. So I'll stop now. I'll pause now to see if there's any questions.
Yes, we actually have two questions for you.
Okay,
so
great.
Let me read number one. And so question one is, if I were to get a book published, can I get the income from the book sales, from the book deal, placed right into my ABLE account? And then in parentheses, which I have yet to establish.
You can put the proceeds in, but it's not going to shield those proceeds from being counted as income. So an ABLE account does not shield income. If you get income from work or any project, that's still counted as income. We have people that do that. I've had part of my paycheck put into my ABLE account, but that is still counted as income for me. Once the assets are in the account, your assets will not be used to look at your SSI needs, but income is still counted as income.
Great, thank you. And we have 2 additional questions.
Okay.
So question number 2, in a prior in-person presentation about ABLE accounts, there was a presenter who said that if an account holder were to desire to withdraw money from their ABLE account to make a documentary on the disabled experience, this would be allowed due to the life-enriching experience of making a movie. Old answer that from a long time ago. Is this still true at this time?
Again, I can't tell you that. So again, no ABLE account has been audited. So none of the deductions as of today have been looked at by the IRS. The IRS would be the agency that would audit an account to see what the expenditure's for. The IRS would ultimately be the determiner of what they would allow or not allow. So I can't tell you yes or no. I can't give you a point blank answer on that.
Thank you. And we actually have 2 additional ones if you want to
Okay.
take them now.
Yes.
All right. So question 3, are state pensions able to contribute?
So you, with the state pension, you would be able to make a deposit into the account, but it would have to be the same amount each month. So if your pension fluctuated, you would have to choose a static dollar amount to put into the account. And you would use the same form that you would use for a direct payroll deposit.
Great. Thank you. And then the last 2 questions. The next one is, do funds apply to caretaking expenses for pets?
So example of this is, and again, I can't say yes or no, but the young lady with the seeing eye dog, because the dog is used as her, basically gives her freedom. She goes to work by herself now. She rides the train by herself. Her mom no longer has to drive her to work. She uses her money in her ABLE account to pay for food, veterinary care, and extra training of the dog. But again, I can't say for 100% if the IRS is going to allow that. Again, the law was written very broadly. If you were ever to be audited, you would have to justify your expenditures to the IRS. Any other questions?
Well, we actually have 2 additional ones. So
Okay.
shall I proceed to the
Yes,
next one?
please.
All right. So next, we have the question, if you have a child who may or may not qualify for SSI or SSDI, can you start an ABLE account? If the child ends up not qualifying as disabled, where do the funds go?
So again, I'm going back to the screen here, the requirements. So you have to have a disability that is before the age of 26. And then it would either be one of the next 3 things. So the disability before the age of 26 and the child qualifies for SSI or SSDI, or onset before the age of 26 and the child has a condition that is listed on the Social Security Administration's compassion allowance list, or the child has a disability that started before the age of 26 and it is blind or has a medically determinable physical or mental impairment that results in marked or severe functional limitation that is expected to last longer than 12 months, and you have a written diagnosis from the physician on file. So if your child doesn't fit into one of those 3 scenarios, then you can't open an ABLE account. So they either have to be qualifying for SSI or SSDI or compassionate allowance list, or you have a diagnosis stating that they have a severe mental or physical disability that is going to impair them for longer than 12 months, or they are blind, and you have to have that on file. So if they don't have any of those three things, then they're not eligible for an ABLE account. Any other questions?
Sure. The last one in our queue. It is it possible for two people to be manager of the ABLE account or a successor manager for the ABLE account to be named?
Okay,
Does,
we're gonna hold on to that question because
okay,
I'm gonna answer that in a few minutes. We haven't gotten there yet.
all right.
Okay, so let's continue. So the next section is Illinois ABLE and working account owners. So any Illinois ABLE individual who works can possibly be able to just deposit more than the annual contribution limit, which is $18,000. So if this individual has an ABLE account and they work, and they do not contribute to their employer's 401k or 403b or 457b, they can contribute more money to their ABLE account than the $18,000. Up to the poverty guidelines for the state of Illinois of $14,580, or the accountor's gross wages, whichever is less. And I'll give you an example of that on this next page. So our first example is with Angel. Angel is an ABLE account owner. He's employed and he doesn't participate in his employer sponsored retirement plan. He's going to earn $20,000 this year in 2024. In Illinois, the poverty level is $14,580. Angel makes more than the $14,580. He makes $20,000. So Angel may exceed the annual contribution limit by as much as the $14,580. So for 2024, he could put in the $14,000 plus the $14,580 plus $18,000, totaling $32,580. Then we have Jenny, who is an ABLE account owner. She's employed. She does not participate in her employer-sponsored retirement plan, and she's going to earn $5,000 this year. So as of this year, it's $14,580. $5,000 is less than $14,580. So Jenny may put in an additional $5,000 into her account. So for 2024, you can put in the $18,000 plus an additional $5,000, which totals $23,000. So the working program for ABLE allows and kind of helps individuals who work be able to deposit more money into their accounts. So when you open an ABLE account, you are going to choose a way to invest your money. So we have 6 target risk investment options, and these are invested into funds such as Capital Group, American Funds, BlackRock, Vanguard, Charles Schwab, Sallie Mae. If someone here has a 401k from their current employer, you're probably already investing in some of these funds currently through your 401k. You choose where the money will go. We do not tell you. This plan is self-directed. So if you choose to invest, you would choose what of the 6 options to put the money in. So you could choose the aggressive option, or you can choose the conservative option. It's your choice. There are fees associated with the investment options, and it's depending on what option you have. So for example, the aggressive option is 0.31. Moderately aggressive is 0.30, growth is 0.30, moderate is 0.30, moderately conservative is 0.29, and conservative is 0.28. What that means is if you have $1,000 in the aggressive option, you would pay $3.10. If you have $1,000 in the conservative option, you would pay $2.80. There are no hidden fees. There are no brokerage fees. And you are allowed to change your options twice a year with no fees. So if I do a really good job today and convince you to open an ABLE account, and you open it and you put your money in the aggressive option today, and then let's say in September you decide, nope, I really want to change it. You can go ahead and change it in September for no cost. The other option that we have is a checking account. And this is with Fifth Third in concert with ILABLE. And with this checking account, you get a real-time debit card, just like everyone else gets from their bank, unlimited check writing, no overdraft fees, FDIC insured, and access to over 40,000 free ATMs. You also get a small percentage of interest earned on the money, between 1% and 2%. Now, you can choose to have the checking account, and you can put money in the investment accounts. So you can have money in the aggressive option or the conservative option or one of those options, and you can have the checking account. Or you can just have a checking account or just the investment accounts. These choices are up to you. The only bank that we deal with is Fifth Third, because this is with the federal government through the ABLE plan. They are our supplier for our banking program, and you can only enroll in this checking account through ILABLE when you enroll online or through our paper form. So the fees. So I already talked about the second bullet point, which is the annual asset-based fees on the target risk options. So if you don't have money in the target risk options, you don't have to worry about those fees. Everyone is charged an annual maintenance fee. And that doesn't matter where you have the money in the ABLE plan invested. Our fees just were reduced. So if you take paper delivery of confirmations and statements, it's $56 a year, and that's charged quarterly, $14 a quarter. Or if you take e-delivery, email delivery of your confirmations and statements, it's $31 a year, $7.75 a quarter. Checking account options, if you take the checking account option, there's a $2 fee because you'll get monthly statements, but you can waive that fee by taking e-delivery, email delivery of your statements, or you have a $250 or better, larger average monthly balance. You can also purchase checks for $6. There are no other fees on an ABLE account. There are no other hidden fees. These are the only fees on the account. So what happens when someone passes away? So this is always what everyone wants to know. Usually it's one of the questions I get. First and foremost, any individual who has an ILABLE account can name a successor beneficiary. A successor beneficiary has to be named before the account owner, which is the person with disability, dies. Currently, by Treasury Department statutes, the person that is the designated beneficiary has to be a sibling with a disability. If the account owner does not name a sibling with a disability, and they name someone else as successor beneficiary, that person may be charged penalties and fees on what's left in the account after the individual passes away. So number one is, if the account owner dies, you can take your last qualified disability expenses out, including funeral and burial expenses. And then 180 days after the death of the account owner, the person or entity with legal authority to administer the account owner's estate can submit the ILABLE estate distribution form to release the account assets and close the account. If there is a successor account owner named on the account, the remaining funds will be transferred to the beneficiary. Please note, a state Medicaid agency can still recover from the estate based on factors such as type of Medicaid benefits received, individual state Medicaid policy, and the account owner's state of residence. So in Illinois, The state Medicaid agency, HFS, recently modified the state recovery rules for Medicaid recipients who died on or after July 1st of 2022. No recoveries are allowed against the first $25,000 of the estate value. And that's the total estate value, not just ABLE money. For more information, please visit hfs.illinois.gov and talk with a legal professional. So again, this is what happens if someone passes away. So who can open an ill-able account? So we already talked about who's eligible for an account. Now we're going to talk about who can open an account. First and foremost, any eligible adult who has legal capacity can open an ill-able account. So that's someone like myself, someone that has legal capacity. I'm over the age of 18. I can open and manage an account for myself. An eligible adult with legal capacity can grant power of attorney to a trusted person or entity to open as an authorized individual or to help them with the account. The account owner and the authorized individual have equal signature authority on the account, so they can both transact on the account. And the account owner can remove the authorized individual from the account at any time. So that's the first person who can actually open an account. So as long as the adult is eligible, which means they pass the eligibility criteria, they can open an account for themselves. The next person or entity that can open an account is an authorized individual. An authorized individual is someone who has legal authority to manage an ill-able account on behalf of an eligible minor or an eligible adult without legal capacity. So again, an authorized individual is someone who has legal authority to manage an account on behalf of an eligible minor or an eligible adult without legal capacity. If you have an adult who has legal capacity, then they have to give you a power of attorney. So an authorized individual is always a trusted individual or organization that has legal authority to manage an ill-able account on behalf of the account owner. An authorized individual must always administer the account for the account owner's benefit, and the federal law prohibits authorized individuals from acquiring any beneficial interest in an ill-able account during the account owner's lifetime, which means if you are an authorized individual, you cannot pay yourself out of the ABLE account to administer the account for the disabled individual. So when the Treasury Department finalized the rules and regulations for ABLE accounts, they put in an order of priority, which is the section on the left in blue. The highest person in the order of priority is self. That would be an eligible adult with legal capacity. The next person highest is someone who has a power of attorney that was given to them by a legal adult who has legal capacity. Next is a legal guardian, then spouse, parent, sibling, grandparent, representative payee. Now, some of these things may overlap. So you may have someone that has a power of attorney that's also the spouse and the SSA rep payee. Or you may have a legal guardian that's also a spouse or a parent or a sibling or a grandparent and an SSA rep payee. Someone had asked the question about having two people on the account as an authorized individual. You can have two people as authorized individuals on the account, but they have to be on the same level. So for example, if we have an account owner and there's a legal guardian as an authorized individual, the only other authorized individual on the account could be another legal guardian. So that means, so for example, if mom or dad are both on the guardianship papers, then mom and dad can both be authorized individuals on the account. If there's a parent as an authorized individual, only another parent could be on the account as another authorized individual. Now, if an authorized individual passes away, then whoever is going to be the successor would have to fill out a form, one letting us know that the original authorized individual died and that they are going to succeed as the authorized individual. So that's how this works. So when you enroll in ABLE, you first have to identify where you are in the hierarchy. And then 2, you are going to certify under penalties of perjury that you are in the hierarchy with that relationship to the individual with the disability, and that there is no other individual or entity that is willing and able to act as authorized individual who is higher than you. So for example, if a grandparent opens an account, but there's a parent, the parent can come along and say, no, we want the account, and they would be granted the ability to take over the account. So it's the highest person in the hierarchy. And at some point, you may be asked to submit documents to show who you are in this hierarchy. So, does anyone have any questions about this? Are there any other questions?
It seems that there are no further questions. The only related one, which maybe you can expand on, is does the beneficiary have to authorize contributions and withdrawals versus the person who manages funds? Speaking of the successor managers.
I'm not sure what they're asking. So if you're an authorized individual on the account, you would manage the account, you would make the deposits into the account, you would make the withdrawals on the account. If someone passes away, then you would have to send us documentation showing, if you're not the authorized individual, showing that you are the legal representative for the estate. So I'm not quite sure what the question is.
Yes, I think it was related to the earlier question of having 2 different people
Okay.
as to be manager of an ABLE account.
So again, you can have 2 authorized individuals on an ABLE account, but they have to be the same level. So if you have a legal guardian as the authorized individual, only another legal guardian can be on the account as an authorized individual. If you have a parent on the account, you can only have another parent on the account. If you have a sibling, only another sibling can be an authorized individual. But if for example, if there's only one authorized individual and they're the spouse and they die, then anyone can submit documents to become the authorized individual after the spouse dies.
Thank you so much,
You're
Rosemary.
welcome.
There are just a few, if you do
Okay.
have want
Sure,
to
go
handle
ahead.
a few more. Do you have to have a lawyer to set up an ABLE account?
No, you do not.
Very good. And another one, can the beneficiary decide who the successor is and given more priority than the successor?
No. So especially if they don't lack, if they're a minor child or they don't lack legal capacity, if they do not lack legal capacity, then they have no ability to name a successor, another guardian or another authorized individual.
Wonderful. And then looks like one additional one. So going back to the various parties, a parent who is a guardian cannot have a sibling who is not a guardian on the account.
That's correct. So what can happen though is if that parent guardian dies, then the sibling can produce the death certificate for the parent guardian and fill out a form to be placed on the account as an authorized individual.
Excellent. Are you willing to take just a few more?
Yeah, sure, go on, please.
All right. Okay. Love all these questions. So to expand on a previous question, if your child is medically determinable from a doctor's diagnosis, but does not qualify for SS, I presume Social Security, because of the IQ test at 17, how is the account handled, or is the doctor's diagnosis sufficient?
Again, as I said here, if you get a doctor's diagnosis that says that your child is blind or has a medically determinable physical or mental impairment that results in marked and severe functional limitation that is expected to last longer than 12 months, and you have a written diagnosis, and this started before the age of 26, you can have an ABLE account. Even if you don't have SSI or SSDI.
Wonderful, thank you. And then I think the last one that's in the queue is there some sort of benevolent fund or organization that would deposit money into ABLE accounts?
No. These are self-funded accounts. So through gifts from family and friends, people that work, payroll direct deposits, people who put in leftover money at the end of the month from their Social Security Administration benefits. Any other questions?
That is all that we have in the queue.
Okay, so we'll go on and then I'll take some more at the end.
Very good.
So ill-able resources, you will be sent brochures after the presentation's over. We also, everything that I've been talking about today is on our website at illinoisable.com. And I'm going to show you that website in just a moment. But this is where you go to find out all the information that I've talked about, plus much, much more. Our plan disclosure booklet is even more in depth, and we highly recommend that you read what's in the plan disclosure booklet. We also have a monthly newsletter, the Accessible News and Updates, that comes out monthly, that gives you the latest and greatest information about fee reductions, about changes in the law, about new benefits with the program, and you can sign up on our website for that. So this is actually our website. I'm showing it to you live, real time here. So if you go to the website and you click on the question mark, you will get our phone number for our customer service department. And you can call them Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. They can answer any question that you request. And if you need help filling out an application or enrolling, you can get their help at that time. So I'm going to take you over to the resource area, and we are going to the forms area on the website. So the plan disclosure booklet. The plan disclosure booklet allows you to read everything in great depth about the ABLE program. You can download it here. You can get a paper enrollment form here, or you can click do it online, so you can enroll online. You can also have many other forms here, account information change form. So if you move, if you have a new phone number, if you have a new email address, you can download the form here to submit it. If you want to set up a direct payroll deposit form, or if you want to, like your pension or from your payroll, you can download or do it online here. If you're rolling money over from a 529 college savings plan, you can get the form here. Earned income contribution form is if you work and you qualify for the Able to Work program, you can do this here. If you want to request money or withdrawal from your investment options, You can do it online. You can download a form and mail it in. If someone passes away, you have the small estate affidavit form here. You have an authorized entity signatory form, and this is where it's add an authorized individual. So if someone passes away, if an authorized individual passes away and you need to put someone new on the account, you would download this form and fill this out. So again, this is the website. This has all the information that I've talked about, plus much, much more. I'm going to take you to the investment options. So here's our investment options. It's going to give you an overview of each of the different options, the strategy, the objective, the risks, the aggressive price history for 18 months on each of these funds. Here it goes all the way through the conservative option. You can also see more about the checking account. So you can learn more about the checking account here. Again, FDIC insured up to $250,000. And again, this is the website. This is everything that I've talked about today, plus much, much more. So this is where you would go to enroll, to learn more about the program. So what you should do next. One is identify if there will be an authorized individual or not. So once you decide who the authorized individual is, or if there isn't going to be one, read the plan disclosure booklet. Read what type of investor are you, which is on the website. You'll also be getting that pamphlet in a few moments by email. You can go to the website and read all of those things. And then organize. You're going to need Social Security numbers, taxpayer numbers for both an authorized individual and an account owner. You're going to need driver's licenses, state IDs, dates of birth, permanent and mailing addresses for the account owner and the authorized individual. You're going to need, if you're going to do electronic transfers of money, checking account, savings account, and then one email address that's going to be used for all of your correspondence, communication from the plan. So again, you can open the account for $25. You can open it online, which we recommend highly. You can download a paper form, fill it out at your leisure. If you have an issue, call customer service. They will walk you through the enrollment and filling out the form, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. If you don't live in the state of Illinois, please check with the state that you do live in. And remember that there's only one account per individual with disability. Always make sure that you talk to any financial advisors that you need to, but you cannot open an ill-able account at a bank or an attorney or a financial advisor. You can only do it from our website or by downloading our enrollment form. And that's me at the end with my email address, and I will go back to that. My email address is rladani@illinoistreasurer.gov, and I'll leave this screen up. Do we have any other questions?
Not at this time, and we are actually at an overtime, so
Okay.
I think we should wrap. If you have any closing remarks before I do mine.
No, just please take my email address down. Please email me if you have any other questions. I'll be glad to help you. Again, thank you for your time and consideration of having me today.
Well, thank you so much, Rosemary.